Oh, yeah. Sorry, Steve.
Yeah, I'm waiting on confirmation if it can be reset, because I did it once, and then when I did the Millionaire Master Plan and it gave you the option to do it again, it jumped like 3 levels, and I don't think it's accurate.
Yeah.
So I just want to get it right.
Yeah. Okay. And, you know, we've had people come in, I think it was someone that was probably in my last group, that it's really interesting because being, and I'm not saying this is you, I'm just explaining generally, being at infrared level, which is obviously the victim level, there are some people who are in denial at being at that level because they don't, it's a horrible word to say I'm a victim, but like I was saying to you guys, it's the easiest to get out of. So if you've got a lot of debt and you're basically, victim is falling further in debt. So you're keeping on, you've got debt and you're sort of using debt to fund debt, if that makes sense. So you're falling back. So infrared is very much that, whereas the red is when you're making just enough money to have nothing. So you're covering everything, but you're not really moving ahead. So you get clear on that, and you know, like personal debt, business debt, it's all debt, it all funds into each other, you know, it all feeds into each other. Whereas the worker is, if you think of someone who has a role, a job, generally, unless they've got some massive debt, like they might have gone out and got credit cards and certain things like this, or they might have property or whatever, but it's actually a negative. Very rarely do you hear that from that position. You hear it more from business owners. So from a worker's perspective, most people who are at worker level have got money. You know, otherwise they're further down the spectrum. So when you're looking at what level you're at, please make sure that if you know you've done the test and you go, well, you know what, I am actually in debt and I'm falling further behind and that's why I'm here, because I've got to find a way out. That's perfect, because that's exactly where we need to support you to get out of. So like I said, that's victim, survivor. Worker is working for someone else, basically. The guy, actually, the particular guy that he kept saying, I'm red, he came along to iLAB because someone paid for him. So he had a benefactor, he told me, and I thought, doesn't that mean you owe someone? Whereas he was so convinced that he wasn't even working. He didn't even have any income at all, but he was in so denial of where he was at that he kept saying to me, I'm not that, because he didn't want to be seen that, but he left that. So you can see the value of actually going, well, you know, let's go through it if we need to and make sure you're clear on where you are. Ainsley and I were talking before about doing the promotion, right? And we were talking about, you know, what you're going to do with it. So what will be happening, so once you're clear on all these, and like I said, we'll flick through this in a moment and then we'll get you to make sure you're on GeniusU so we can flick through that as well. Just get you clear on where you're at. So as you're going through the missions and the different things, you will then be considering, where am I at, what have I done, what do I need to do? For me to put together a promotion, as in you're putting together a promotion, it is what is it that you can promote that is going to monetize for you the quickest. This particular guy that I was talking about, he had to get a job. So it doesn't mean that he's not contracting to someone, but he had to go and work for someone else because he was never ever going to get out of this situation with his passion and with his dream, which we could not see from that moment how we could monetize it. So we'll be sort of testing things as we go along too. So, you know, to get out of from victim to survivor, so to get out from totally being in debt to how do we actually get to just break even, which is not where you want to be because you want to be further ahead. But let's say that's the first step, is okay, well, how much do I actually need to break out of that? So what is it? Okay, well, really, you know, like I'm making $3,000 a month, and if I made $5,000, then I would be that much further ahead. So then I know that would be my break-even point. But if I made $10,000, which is a big jump, right? Then I know then I would be going up the, you know, where worker and into player. However, for majority of you that are at that lower level, we just need to take a little step. Because one little step is easier to do. So if you've never earned $1,000 before, for example, we need to help you find a way to earn $1,000. So we don't want to, the power of zero is really, if you think, what is zero, by the way? What is zero? Yeah, it's nothing. So when you have a 1 or another number in front of it, it's 1, 2, 3, whatever, and lots of nothings, right? So the power of zero is if you haven't earned a certain number of zeros yet, we just need to say what number of zeros after a number have you earned, and then let's help you go to the next step. So let's add another zero on. So basically, if you've earned $100, let's help you earn 1,000. If you've earned $1,000, let's help you earn 10,000. For some of you may say $9,000 a month is too big a step. Okay, what would be comfortable? 5,000. Now remember, you don't need to know the how. So this is why when Paul comes in tomorrow, we'll work out whether he's going to do one-to-one sessions with you, which he may do, or he may do groups. I'll have to check with him. If he does one-to-one, I'll do one-to-ones with you as well. We will be going through your cash flows to make sure that you're in a position that we can see clearly, we can measure moving forward, moving from 1 0 to the next. So we need to see where you're at, and this is why you're entrepreneurs, this is why you do personal cash flow and not your business cash flow. So it'll be a matter of moving you up the spectrum. So getting clear on what it is now. So Steve, if you've filled in your cash flow, is saying, you know, are you making enough to cover everything? What did your personal cash flow look like at the end? So we can go through all that, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why I was questioning it, because cash flow wise, I'm probably up at worker level.
Yeah.
But the initial test was victim, and then the second time come up as player. Yeah.
Well, worker's probably a good mix for you. I mean, worker, if you're working basically, is how it works. So is that right for you?
That's correct.
Yep. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. You know, but like I said, being an infrared, by the way, not for you, but being an infrared is perfectly fine. We'll move through that. So we've been through this. I don't think we really need to go through it again, but I'll stick this on the... So, let's put a little bit more information onto the levels from this perspective. So as I said, the victim is exactly what the word stands for. It really is being a victim. And the thing is, so many people, and you look how many people are out there that actually are victims. You see it all the time, you see it on social media. Social media is actually a really great one to pick up who the victims are. You know, I made a pact this year that only ever post positive things, positive posts, and I sort of messed it up when I did the thing about Action Coach, but anyway, I fixed it, I believe. But it's like where you start focusing on something that is a negative, because it almost takes the focus off you being in the situation you're at. So it's always like everyone else's fault, instead of taking responsibility for where you're at. So instead of you making things happen to make the changes, everything happens to you. So you're in that flow. Does anyone sort of relate to this? Because, I mean, everyone in some stage has probably been through this to some level, at some stage in their life. So you're going backwards financially and you're irresponsible with money. 80% of people basically out there sit in this category. You look how much poverty there is, although some people in you know, like that don't have a lot of money are probably the wealthiest people that we know. And they know how to live with what they've actually got. So this, if you can relate to this, you're definitely at that level. Even if you've tested, like I've had a person infrared that's definitely tested green. And there's no way they were green, it was just like a denial thing. So I want you to keep this in mind as you go through. The survivor, earn enough to have nothing, any savings is deferred spending, unable to look after future needs, fear of the unknown, stifling creativity. So to get from victim to survivor is obviously once you've got, okay, what do we need to do to get out of victim mode? Click it into the next survivor level, and then from there it's just a matter of we just need more now. We need more if we're already doing it, so we just need to do a promotion, and how do we actually get more? So which is what this is all about, is making sure you're doing a promotion to do that. And don't worry, all this is continuing to come, so you'll hear all about this as we move forward. So the worker, able to build wealth for the long term, has stable employment, not fulfilled, looks forward to retiring, trades money for time, they explore their passions. That you, Steve? Yeah. So, and you know, that's why so many people leave their roles, corporate jobs, you hear it a lot, because they're in a position where they know they can do something because they may be on a really good income. And I did that before. It was like 12 years ago, I left a corporate role, which I was earning, I think it was about 15 years ago, I was earning $70,000 a year back then, which was a lot of money for where I was at. I climbed up the ladder and went to another higher level, and then what happened was they said funding's run out, as a lot of the time it does, so I got kicked back. And I thought, I'm not doing this anymore. So I actually went from this position of able to build wealth for the long term. I had stable employment. I wasn't happy. I was looking forward to the future and seeing, I was looking forward to my holidays each time. I was definitely trading money for time, and what else could I do? So I just did something that I wouldn't recommend anyone to do. I just quit. You know, I'd had one lot of long service leave. I was coming up into my next lot, and which meant that I would have got, you know, if I had waited another couple of years, I would have got a reasonable payout. Not happy leaving. So I made the decision to say to my boss, who's, you know, he had 1,000 people working for him, I said, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to let you go. You know how they say it to employees? It's, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to let you go. It's not working out. We haven't got funding for you now, blah, blah. I said it to him. And it was the most powerful moment of my life because it actually put me in a position where I went, now what? Now I've created some space for opportunities to come in. And within 2 weeks, I was offered a role as a coach because I was already doing a program. I was doing a property, and that's how come property program. That's how I became a property coach. So from that, I went into this level. And so the enterprise prison is where, obviously, the aim is to get you all up into that enterprise prison. Because once you're in there, it's so easy to keep moving on. It's just the steps to get you there is a fair bit of work at the moment. Once you're in enterprise prison, it's a lot more fun. The steps are a lot more fun. It's just the energy you put in to get there. So you earn income doing what they love. If they stop, the money stops. It's still highly dependent on you. Coach, consulting, running your business, whatever. If you can't leverage yourself, then you're at this level where it's all dependent on you still. So you wear all the hats. Who feels like that? You get really heavy sometimes, don't you? Because you've just got too many hats on your head. And they fulfill needs in the marketplace. So you are out there giving people what they want, but you just can't leverage it yourself. So you're sitting at that level. So the next step up is obviously bringing in a team. So have a team unified around vision, earn money as shareholder and salary. So therefore, what that's saying is that you've now got an organisation that you can almost like, you can go away and do things and know that that business is, or that organisation is making you as much money, if not more, than if you were there. Because it's going to run without you successfully. And that is where the saying goes, I guess, having a business that runs without you. But I would always add on to that for a period of time, because there's no business that can run totally without you being involved in any way, shape or form, unless you sell it to someone else. So the vision and mission is clear for the team, hired others to work on the team, so that's like getting a supporter in to work on the team, and they have meetings that organise team. That's very good English, isn't it? So, yeah, these meetings, obviously, and that's what Roger does now. He has team meetings every single week with his teams. He's got separate little teams, and he has meetings with them every single week, so he's in control at this level. He is not a performer, he's a conductor. So he's setting up that, moving into trustee level. Conductor, the back is on the marketplace. They don't work operationally on the business, have multiple businesses or team, manage with KPI dashboard. I mean, has anyone ever been at this level in their business? Not yet? I have. Do you want to know what it's like to be at that level and then drop down to infrared? Yeah. It ain't pretty. But let me tell you, once you know what it's like to be green, it's very quick to get back up there. Because you can get to this level and just get blasé with it and not have it set up correctly and then suddenly make the drop. It's very easy to get back up because you've already done it once. So bring out the best in their team. It's definitely all about the people, and that is really conducting and making sure that's all work. So that's it. So what I want you to do now is to get out your computers, and we're going to log in. I'll get Shane to put one up here so we can go through it together. We're going to log into the Genius U platform, and any questions that you have then, based on what we've just been through, we should be able to address as we're moving through this. Yeah. Well, we can get them to. We've got them. Now, I know I've just asked you to do that, but what we're going to do first is where OJ, our fun patrol, we're going to do a massage train to get you guys a bit energised. Like I said, we haven't even gone through the heavy bit yet. So everybody up. Thanks, OJ.
High five.
High five. High five. High five.